just I don't know. Can you see my mouse on the screen share?
I'm focusing on your face.
Minimize view.
Let me change focus.
I need to remember to just start looking at the
I don't
camera.
think I can see your mouse moving on there. No.
Okay, no worries. No.
Oh no, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I think we've got all the attendees who we're going to get today. So let's just dive right into the meeting. Are you ready, Chris?
Yep. Yep. Good to go.
Okay, cool. But start off with just saying hello. I'll be chairing the meeting for today. Hi, Chris. How have you been?
Yep. Good. Thank you. Very good. How are you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking.
What pleasant greeting.
Yeah. But let's not get sidetracked.
Sorry.
And
Sorry.
move on to reviewing the agenda. So we've obviously covered the greetings. We're looking at the agenda. Next up, we've got professional banter. Always important to build positive working relationships.
Yep.
Then we'll be covering what are you working on, and what am I working on, and then we'll close up with any other business.
Could I just break agenda briefly to compliment you on your beautiful agenda reading? Beautiful work, beautiful, right. Like a pro.
While I appreciate the
sorry, I'm getting
the compliments,
can we
try and keep to the agenda and hold such topics for the any other business?
Certainly.
We've got some important items to cover, which are quite high priority, such as professional banter. So, did you see that ludicrous display last night, Chris?
I knew it was coming. Which is why I said nothing. I said nothing. Oh dear. Dear me. I think this can come under professional banter. I over Christmas put all my Christmas decorations up with smart plugs. And I have put
right. Okay.
So the whole house was, you could just say turn on Christmas and everything came on, or you could turn on a specific set of lights. It does mean I've now got a load of spare smart plugs, so I've got 3 there that I need to find a use for.
Right, okay.
And I just had a great idea of what to do with them.
Set lighting.
Well, you say that. Computer, desk lamp off.
Ooh.
Computer, desk lamp on. So I've got 3 spares, and what I initially thought, because I put them like that to like store them, and then I thought to myself, that could be a fun game, is plugging something in like that, and then hiding like code words around the house, and you have to tell I can call it Alexa because mine doesn't respond to that word. You can tell Alexa the code word, and unless you turn all 3 code words on, it doesn't work.
The only professional banter I was gonna have was on the new Taylor Swift album, Evermore.
Yes,
which I rather like.
I rather like it as well. Very similar to Folklore. Very similar.
Very similar, but more varied songs.
Yeah.
And it covers like the whole range of more of a range of her genres, because there's some very country songs, which I really like.
They're my
country
favourite.
Taylor Swift when it's not teen angst.
Yeah, no, my favourite song of hers is Mean, which is very country. It's got that sort of very like plucky guitar sound at the beginning, and I'm pretty sure the video is like her and some people sat on hay bales playing instruments.
Is that on a different album?
It's not on any. It's not on any of the new albums. It's on on an old album.
Okay.
But
cool.
Yeah, love me some Tay Tay.
I think we've I think we've covered professional banter.
Yeah, I think
We've
we've
both
exhausted.
contributed.
I think we've exhausted professional banter this week.
Yep. Okay. So moving swiftly on, Chris, Mr. Coe, what are you working on?
That's a very good question. Consult my meeting notes. This week, actually, there's two things that have been really fun this week, which I think come under projecty things. One is editing the video for last week's meeting, which, while being very frustrating at the points where it decided to just delete itself and ask me to start again, was really quite fun. It reminded me how much I enjoy doing like video editing. So that's made me try and think of a few like different topics or things that I can do videos on. Probably going to be relatively weird ones, but I'll think of something. So that's one of them. The other one is I have been writing a Dungeons and Dragons story. This isn't for the game that we're involved in. This is for my wife's work. Part of one of their things is having a pack based on the archive. So I've done the map, I've made the map, and now I'm halfway through writing the story. It is due tomorrow, and I've got a good chunk left to write, so I'll be doing that from when we finish this until.
Should we just touch on a little bit of context?
Yeah.
So you've mentioned it to me before. I don't think we've mentioned it in any video. Is you suggested the idea of doing some sort of D&D themed stuff for some kids, which was received as such a good idea. It was decided, obviously, you should do that, Chris.
So now I'm doing it, yeah. So now I'm writing the story. It's because what I'm trying to do. So I've written Dungeons and Dragons stories for our D&D party and other D&D parties. And no, I'm trying to not use anything I've written before, so that I could use it for our group.
Okay.
So it's very much, it's probably more aimed at people who either haven't played or are starting at level 1. It would be people could adapt it themselves. So yeah, and it's quite having to also make sure I link in the local area is quite sort of different as well. So yeah, that's been quite fun. I've done a lot of it yesterday and some today before we jumped on, and that's quite fun this week. The only other thing from me for this week is something that I completely forgot to list on my list of things that projecty things that I enjoy. Completely forgot. I have it prepared next to me. I will hold it up.
I'm trying to think what this could be. I've got some ideas.
It is, so this is in this case here, is my Raspberry Pi.
Yes, of course.
With my touchscreen that I've got to go with it. So I can have my laptop out doing stuff from, I can have my laptop connected to my monitor, and I've got this touchscreen. So I can connect this with a mouse and keyboard, and it will actually just run off my power pack that I've got for my phone. Yep. So I can sit and do some coding on that. So I've had various plans for what I wanted to do with that, ranging from an interactive DM screen to mainly D&D stuff, initiative trackers and stuff. I still haven't landed on a firm idea of what to do with it. So I'm still thinking. Me and my wife have a idea that this year we'd quite like to buy a 2-man Canadian style canoe. If we do, I'm thinking of getting it set up so it can be in that, and it can have just some sort of basic GPS map, and also give me just something really nerdy, like give me stats about like the angle of the boat, because when we take the dog in the boat, depending on which side of the boat the dog sits, depends on which side we lean, and it'll be really interesting to know like how that's balancing out. But yeah, I completely forgot to mention that last time, and yeah, playing around with codes and stuff,
So it's
I
not just building a
really
canoe;
enjoy.
it's you've been boating with him clearly.
We no, yeah, so we won't be we
Already
won't
have.
be we won't be building one. I'm not. I'm
Sorry,
not.
not building, flying.
But yeah, so we've been out a few times. Last year we went out 3 or 4 times in various places where you can
Hmm.
hire it and go out.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and because we live pretty close to the river where we could keep it, we could pay a small amount and keep one there, and then go out when the
Hmm.
tide's not too awful. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, so that would be really, that's one of the things we really want to do this year, and I'm thinking some sort of overly complex data system that I can look at to tell me about how we're doing, would be quite fun. And mainly I could use it as like a guinea pig to get various sensors and play with how they work for future stuff as well. It feels like it's a good
I've
guinea pig. I think that's it for what
Okay.
is going on with me.
Cool. Okay. Um. Well, in that case, I'll move on to what am I working on.
Indeed.
Um.
What are you working on?
Well, the main. I'll consult my notes as well. But, we're definitely prepared well in advance of the meeting. Um. The main thing I've been working on is tinkering with my car because its MOT is due next weekend. So this is a car I bought about 18 months ago now. And I'd been looking for a more practical car for my dog. I had the car I was driving at the time as my daily driver was the 1988 7 Series, which you saw last week,
Yeah.
and very fun. Was actually reliable as a daily driver, other than some charging issues, which took a little while to figure out, but worked pretty well. Not very practical for putting a 37 kilogram German Shepherd in the back of,
Not massively.
and not very practical in the winter when it has no carpets and minimal interior. Bit cold. Not very practical in the summer when it doesn't have any working air conditioning, no carpets, bare metal floors where all the heat from the transmission, etc., comes straight through the floor into the cabin. Um, so I was looking for a more practical car. Wanted an estate. Wanted something that would still be fun to drive, interesting to drive, etc. Front engine, rear wheel drive, or all wheel drive, something of that matter. And at this point, I already had two BMWs. And then when I was looking, I had no plan of buying anything at that point. I hadn't sold my 3 Series yet, so I was going to sell that and then buy something more practical. I spotted on eBay a 1999 BMW, again, 540i Touring, which is relatively rare in its own right, being a 4.4 litre V8 with a manual transmission, which is very rare in that respect. The 7 Series is also a 3.5 litre with a manual transmission, which is very rare and a lucky find. Doesn't necessarily mean it's worth much, but it's just unlikely to find it. And ended up using um, being enabled by some of my annual bonus being fresh in my pockets at that point as well. Uh, Going to visit this guy cash in hand with my mate and driving it home on the same day. Um,
I think from memory, I'm pretty sure my reaction and was just like because you hadn't got rid of the others. So I was like, you don't
no,
need
and
three out.
no, and I for quite a long time, actually to be honest, I still do try and claim I'm not a BMW guy. Not a BMW guy.
I think it is difficult to try and justify not being a BMW guy when at one point you actively owned three.
Yes, but this is the difference to me is
And
okay.
there is a picture of you with three other people, all of which have BMWs, where
Yes.
you gathered your BMWs together.
Shout out
That's the
shout out to the
behaviour.
bin bums.
That's the behaviour of a
Okay, so
BMW person, isn't it?
I think I was gonna say I wrote down a few other things we could talk about, but this one project progress has turned into a history lesson of my non BMW guy journey. So this is why I say I don't buy them because they're BMWs. I don't buy them because they're a BMW. I buy them because the cars I'm looking for, and I was looking at a lot of other cars before I bought the 5 Series estate, and it was a rare opportunity to buy that car as well, and it fit what I wanted. Um, so it's practical and massively impractical. It's a very practical estate with lots of space and some very convenient luggage stowage. Very impractical for the fact it has a 4.4 litre V8.
I have two questions. So, question number one, is there anything in your house right now that is BMW branded that is not your car or car keys?
No, other than manuals. So obviously I have service manuals.
Note.
So other than the documents for working on the cars, no, I don't have any BMW branded items.
Note for Howard's birthday. BMW branded
And I'm down to 2
everything.
BMWs now. Shall I get back on track with the story? Because this has made a massive... What I've actually been doing this week.
Yeah, go on.
This gives a lot of context. But so I've been prepping it for its MOT this week, which is actually mostly just washing it. And I had an advisory for some brake pad wear sensing wires. So sorted them out. Obviously, it needs to be a clean car, taking it to an MOT. I couldn't turn up to a garage with a dirty car, asking them to work on it. But last year, hopefully it should go straight through this year, because I did all but one advisory for like actual mechanical stuff, which was rear anti-roll bar bushes being worn, which fingers crossed because of the lack of use over the past year, we're just not needing to drive nearly as much. Those will still be fine. But one of the main things it failed on last year, and I ended up taking a week off work and borrowing a welder from a mate to fix before I could get back to Suffolk to get to your wedding, was welding up the rear jack points and stuff, because it failed on rust on the front of the rear arches at the sill of the car. So if you got the rear arch, and then if the front of the car's that way, and you got your rear wheel arch and then the sill, there was rust in this area here. Anyway, welded up and got it passed. But that was an intense week and a stressful week. And I don't know if I told you at the time, the Friday I travelled back to Suffolk, because I think we did stuff to help you set up on the Friday before the wedding on the Saturday, right? Yeah. I was sat waiting. I meant to get there like as they opened, but I got there a bit early and was sat waiting for them to open, and they took pity on me and just checked it straight away there and then. So fingers crossed. I think I've chatted about enough background stuff, to be honest. The only other thing I think of, I had some filler items if needed. The only other thing is obviously I've been working on updating our logo, being massively out of date now, having been the same logo since we created Cox Coe back in 2015. So it's over 5 years old now. So
both have considerably different hair.
Is that an update? Yes. Yeah.
Maybe do we need, because we were talking about what different ways to update the logo other than just updating hair. Do we need a side on?
Let's add that as a possibility.
I've got quite a good whoosh going on.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, sure. Let's add that as a possibility. If you send me a pic,
Yeah.
profile pic,
Oh.
be a bit trickier. So, okay, well, I'll maybe that can be a subjective as well as we make progress on the logo, because I think it's worth taking the time to get it right before rather than rushing it in for a video, and we can always put some ideas and get people's feedback.
That's true.
Get some feedback from the other attendees of the meeting.
Yes, that's true. Did you remember to let them in?
Oh shit! That is a lot of notifications.
That is, yeah.
It's okay. They can read the minutes.
Yeah.
It's too late now.
That's fine.
We'll share the minutes and etc. And we'll deal with it there. And we can always publish, logo ideas in the minutes, can't we?
Yeah.
I think that covers what I'm working on.
Okay.
Shall we move on to any other business?
Any other business sounds like a good place to go to.
I know there are a couple of things that we potentially were going to be any other business. I forgot mine during the professional banter. Did you make? And I didn't write down the item you were discussing that we deferred to any other business.
Well, I've actually got 2 other things for any other business.
Okay, good. Fire away.
So last week we discussed company names. Not company names.
Mm-hmm.
Job roles, company titles.
Job titles.
Yes. And I wondered whether you wanted to put a more interesting twist on the title co-founder.
I'm listening.
Well, because lots of people have the title co-founder. I could actually have the title co-founder with an E, and that would make you. So that would make you the Cox founder.
Okay. Interesting.
I looked at it and I thought, oh, if you just put an E or an X there, suddenly it's just an idea. Just an idea. We could try that as like in this, when we do this video and we put our names to it. Let's try it there and see how it looks, and we can discuss the outcome in the next meeting. Now, I've just thought of I don't mean to open
the co-founder and the co-founder. The X is silent. Sorry. Cool.
No. So the other thing I thought of was obviously we're Cox and Co, aren't we? It's Cox and Co.
Yeah.
So shouldn't you be our Lord, and shouldn't I be and Saviour?
Yes. I like it. Okay. Let me add this to our overall actions.
I opened that previous action up more than I expected to, so I do apologise.
No, that's good. And we had an open item anyway that obviously these titles, roles and responsibilities will inevitably grow with as the organisation grows. What was the second any other business item?
The second was that last week we discussed and you committed to joining in our 2021 exercise yearly distance challenge. And this week I'm hoping you're going to tell me how many kilometres you are going to cycle and how many kilometres you are planning to walk.
Okay, so this is a mix of stretch targets and conservative targets. So the dog walking is what I've started with for my walking target. So I'm going to stretch that. I've worked it out, and it works out as about 600 and something kilometers a year. I'm going to stretch it to 750.
Okay.
To be honest, you and Emily could probably add walking targets with Stephen as well. But cycling, I'm gonna start off conservative, and this is based on because been very much enjoying cycling on tracks and things, and doing some more technical stuff. Based on a relatively conservative effort of 40 kilometers a week, I'm gonna aim for 2,000 kilometers.
Okay.
And if commuting were to return, that would net me 1,300 kilometers. But I'm not going to plan for the daily cycling unless that returns.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that puts the group target up to 15,250. Well, you're on the spreadsheet now. You're in.
Ah, shit.
Committed.
Right, I better start brainstorming some excuses. Oh dear. Yeah.
And that was all I had for any other business.
Well, and that's the one of the things we said we would cover in any other business earlier on, and I flat out can't remember the thing. So I think that is a good point to close the meeting. And thank you everyone for your attendance and contributions. And we'll share the minutes. You have your actions, and we'll reconvene at the same time next week.
Lovely.
Before I forget, don't forget that like and subscribe approval request.
Yeah, sorry.
That I sent to you.
Yeah, it's still on my desk.
I raised it last week.
You did. Yeah, no, my apologies. Yeah. It's still on my desk. I will. I'll get on that like and subscribe request ASAP.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
It's so easy. Such an easy time. No, come on. Come on. Everyone's a friend.
Right. Everyone's a potential customer. Or everyone's a potential cow to be milked. I mean, customer to be delighted.
Yeah.